guys, welcome to this tutorial. Today I'll be showing you how to do a glueless wig. This is very detailed and I'll be dropping more videos on this. So I have students who came to learn how to do glueless wig, so that's why I have a lot of people here. So let me try to be as detailed as I can be. So this particular wig has already been cut, but I'm going to show you how to cut it. So here I'm showing you how to sew your rubber band. There's a particular way how you sew your rubber band. You sew your rubber band facing down. You see how I've placed it on the net. That is how you sew your rubber band. You sew it facing down. And when you're sewing your rubber band onto your lace, you have to be very careful. You have to pick the holes. You don't just sew anyhow. You pick the holes. You are very careful because the least thing you can rupture your lace. So this is what we try to avoid. If you rupture your lace will easily tear. So you have to try as much as possible to avoid that. So when you're sewing, you're making sure you are as careful, as precise as possible. You don't stitch one hole 2 or 3 times. You don't do that. That is how you can easily rupture your lace. And one thing I've noticed from doing glueless wigs is if you have a human head, it makes the process even better, even smoother. Because when you apply your rubber band, you cut your lace, apply your rubber band, you can measure it on the person's head or your head. You can use your head as your canvas. You can measure your head on the person's head as canvas. That is if you have a human head available. But if you don't have, you can still use your dummy head. And in getting your dummy head, you have to get the proper type of dummy heads. There are various types of dummy heads. We get the proper type. These mannequins that I use to advertise wigs, that is the kind you use. So when I put on my client's wig, if you put on someone's wig, you get to do someone's glueless wig. This is how you put it on. You put on the front first before you put the back. So when you put on the front, because I'm trying to adjust, because I did not adjust the rubber band, I did not clip it in before putting it on her head. But you clip it in first. You put on the front first before you go on to put the back. When you put in the first, you pull your lace, pull your frontal, pull it in front till it is where you want it to be. And if the front of the hardest part of glueless wig is the sides. If the front is this firm, the sides are firm, they lay down flat on a person's head, you are on track. This is one misconception a lot of us have about glueless wig. Glueless wig does not mean you do not use spray. Your got-to-be spray, your first time spray, you get to use it depending on where you are going to. So when I did that wig and I applied on her hair, it was possible, everything was perfect. So let me show you what I did before I got to sewing the rubber band. First off, you have to use your razor blade and your scissors. Then you measure the client's head. I've already measured the client's head. Most of these frontal wigs, they are 15 inches, or is it centimeters? So this is how we measure. I measure from this side, the bigger lines. So most of these wigs, they measure to 15. You measure your client's head and then you minus the head size from the lace size. So here I'm taking out 1 inches from here because this lace, it measured up to 50 and my client's head was 12. So I'm taking out 3 centimeters. So the first thing I do is I take out 1 centimeter that way on the left side. Then I go ahead and I take off 1 centimeter on the right side. Don't make the mistake of taking 2 centimeters on both sides so you can compensate for the other side. Don't make that mistake. You take out from one side, you take out 1 from the other side. So once I'm done cutting with my scissors, I'll go ahead and I'll finish cutting with my razor blade. The reason why I'm finishing to cut with my razor blade is because when you're cutting with your scissors, you can easily cut off hair that was not supposed to be cut off, because the scissors is not as precise as a razor blade. So that's why when I cut the lace where there is no hair, I now take my blade and I cut where there is hair, so it is more precise. You can use this razor blade, you can use a regular razor blade, it depends on you. I use both. So once I'm done cutting, I'll measure again. When you cut, you don't just cut and you start sewing. You cut and you measure again. So once I'm done cutting this, I'll go ahead and then I'll measure again to make sure that the inches are okay, the centimeters are okay. So it was at 15. The original lace length was at 15. My client's head size is at 12. I will drop a video here on how to measure a client's head, so you know what you are measuring. My client's head size is at 12. So I took this off, measured again. You can measure on your client's head, or you can measure just with your measuring tape. So I measured and I still had to take off 1 centimeter. So in taking off 1 centimeter, I will take my 1 centimeter on the lace, I divide it by 2. So I'm taking half centimeter from this side and I'll take half centimeter from the other side. And altogether, it gives me, it rounds up to 3 centimeters. The first 2 centimeters I took out, then this second half and half, it gives you 3 centimeters. Once I'm done with all this, I will measure again for the second time to be sure. And when you're measuring, you don't just measure one time and then you let it be. You measure your lace at least 3 times. You measure your lace so you have the same number 3 times, and then you are sure this is the perfect number. You are not making any mistakes. And when you're measuring your lace, any additional line that adds on top of the centimeters, any additional line, I call it inches. So any additional inch that adds on top of the centimeters, you add it there. For example, if it is 50, but you have 15 plus 2 lines or 3 lines, that's 15.3 inches. You add everything. When you're minusing, you minus every single thing. Once I'm done with everything, I'm going to take out the original rubber band. You take out the original rubber band, you take out all these pins that are always on the, especially factory made wigs. You take out every single thing. Then we now get back into sewing. When the video started, how I showed you how to sew. When you're done taking out everything, we get back now into sewing our rubber band. You sew your rubber band facing down. Once we are done with everything, we are going to go ahead and then we style our wig. Then our wig is perfect. Like I said, the common misconception is that people think when you have a glueless wig, you don't need any other thing again. Excuse me, your pardon. When you have a glueless wig, this is exactly how you sew your glueless wig. Watch the video. When you have a glueless wig, you still need your lace holding spray. You still need your rubber band, and you still need an air dryer, a hand dryer. These are the 3 most important things when you have a glueless wig, because sometimes your wig will be good, but when you're going out for an occasion and you want your wig to be perfect, it should look very flat down, very laid, as if you are just from the salon, as if you are just from installing that wig. That is where your spray comes into play. You apply, you dry down, you put on your melting band just like you would if you went to install your hair, and you're perfect to go. Once I'm done sewing down my rubber band, I'll go ahead and I'll cut off the lace. You cut off the lace exactly how you will cut off the lace if you were installing on a person's head. That's the same thing you're going to do. Cut off your lace carefully in a zigzag manner. You don't cut off your lace straight, you cut it off in a zigzag manner, so when it lays on the person's head, it lays down naturally. That is why you're cutting your hair, your lace in a zigzag manner, so it lays down and it looks natural. So when you cut, you go ahead and you pluck. You can go ahead and you pluck your wig. Now you're making sure the front is as natural as possible, because the essence is we want the wig to be natural. We want it to be stress free. We don't want you to go and sit in the salon to get your hair installed. That is where a glueless wig comes into play. Once we're done you get to use your melting spray. So an updo style, braided style, it will pull on the lace, and that is where you get to use your melting spray. But you use your melting spray just occasionally when you're going out, like I've already explained. So once we are done, because it's a pixie wig, don't make the mistake of just styling a pixie wig without shaving. You have to shave. A lot of hairstylists make this mistake. You just take your pixie wig and you just go ahead and you start styling. No, if you shave off the excess, it's the same as your hair. If you want to barber someone's hair, you want to style someone's hair, you shave off the excess. So you shave off the excess so it is perfect. It looks more perfect. That is why we put on wigs, because we want to have a perfect look, a perfect feel without destroying our natural hair. So once we're done shaving and everything, we'll go ahead and restyle. This is the end result of the hair of our glueless wig, and all of this glueless wig, I did not apply any spray on these particular ones because the styles were perfect. The styles were not strenuous on the lace. Like this style, you can see it is not strenuous on the lace. When you put on your glueless wig, you go ahead and you care of the inside of the lace. You can apply your foundation, you can apply your lace tint mousse, your spray tint. You apply all those things. It's the same as installing your wig, and this is how it is. For this wig, I did not use any spray on this wig too, and this is how the wig is. This is how it came out. These are glueless wig. For some of you, if you do your wig and the corners are not flat down, you redo it, you adjust it, or you just go ahead and you spray with your lace spray. Like I said, you cannot carry a glueless wig without lace spray. Particular style, because of how strenuous it is on the lace, we had to apply a little bit of spray on this, just a little bit. We apply just on the corners because of this our baby hair. So when you do your wig with your baby hair, that is where your spray comes in. So that particular wig, we applied a little bit of spray on baby hair to keep it laying down really flat. On this one, we had no spray on it, no spray whatsoever, and that's the end result of all the glueless wigs we did. If you want to see more videos like this, how to do your glueless wig, how to style your glueless wig, drop a comment, you drop a like, you drop a follow, you drop a share. We are going to drop more videos for you like this. This can be your side hustle. This can be